I called my wife by my coworker's name during sex. I'm a M42, and wife is F35, married for 5 years with a blended family of 3 kids total. I realize I'm hosed. Trust me. I just don't know what to do at all to recover from this. The coworker is a woman that works for me. She's contract and has been there about 3 months. She's attractive, I'll admit, but I don't have feelings for her or anything like that. She's just another coworker, but I have been training her, so we've had to work closely together lately. I honestly have no idea why I said her name. My wife and I were having sex, and I was doing the normal, letting my mind wander so I can go a little longer, and my mind drifted to work, a project, then her, and it just happened. My wife was inconsolable. I talked to her at length, and she does believe me now when I tell her I have not cheated with this woman. I offered up everything: access to my phone, text, logs, email, everything. And she knows that I'm not missing any time that can't be accounted for. But I can't convince her that I'm not sexually interested in this woman. The sticky part is this: her contract is up, and we have the option to hire her. She's a good worker, and there is no question that I want to hire her. It's not fair to her to let her go through no fault of her own, but my wife is convinced if we continue working so closely together, something will happen. And she is not a jealous person, so this isn't just a passing thing that she thinks about every woman. I mean, I called her by this woman's name for Christ's sake. I can see why she's rattled. We have a wonderful marriage, rarely fight, have sex like rabbits, etc. So I don't want to do anything to mess this up. So, what now? My wife hasn't made any demands, but this just happened 2 nights ago, so she's still digesting it. I can't punish the woman for my mistake, but if my wife lays down an ultimatum, should I tell her to deal with it in the most understanding way possible? Or start searching for a new job? Comment. Ouch. I know it was innocent, but I know I couldn't easily believe that my husband wasn't sexually attracted to and fantasizing about this other woman if he said her name in bed either. The best way to move forward and win your wife's trust back? Make sure she knows that you understand the gravity of what this did and will continue to do to her. As a female, the thought of my husband being attracted to and thinking about someone else is actually more hurtful than if he cheated on me with a random stranger. Because what's going on in your wife's mind right now is that the way you used to feel about her is how you now feel about this coworker, and you've decided to do the right thing and stick by your wife despite your desires. Acknowledge that you realize this is what's going through her head, and assure her that even though you are incapable of feeling this way for anyone else but her, if you ever did think you were developing feelings for someone else, you would remove yourself from the situation entirely, but emphasize that would never ever happen anyway. Tell her that you have thought this through, and if you were ever given the impression that she had feelings for someone else, you would be devastated. If the coworker is the right person for the job, then you are obligated to hire her. This isn't her fault. But you are also obligated to make sure your wife is happy and knows without a doubt that she's the only person whose tees you want to see on. One more thing I meant to add. Don't get defensive about this. Your wife is hurt and angry, and she's going to need to vent that out, probably more than once. To you it was a simple mistake. To her, her entire world may have just collapsed. Let her vent without reciprocation. OP? Thanks. Practical advice and a lot to think about. Comment. Reacting to this in a big way I think could backfire. Obviously you fucked up, and it's perfectly understandable for your wife to be shaken about it. On the other hand, entertaining elaborate fixes to a simple slip of the tongue, haha, is not a good strategy, I don't think. Tell her you get why she's rattled. Tell her you feel terrible about it and silly. And tell her that you can imagine why she's not 100% comfortable, but that it is what it is. You said something silly, and you apologized, and that's it. You're not going to disrupt anyone's life to fix a problem that only exists in your wife's rattled mind. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. You're her husband, and you've been faithful, right? And you'll continue to be faithful, and she's just going to have to trust you. OP. Good point. My wife has not suggested that I quit my job, and I don't know that she ever would. I'm just trying to troubleshoot and offer some options. I realize several are saying that it's just a slip of the tongue and will calm down and not be a big deal, but right now, it's a big deal. Comment. If this happened to me, I would expect my husband to apologize profusely and explain in full detail why he said another woman's name during sex. Did you explain to her like you did in your post? It's not something she will forget, but with the right explanation, I think it can calm her nerves. It sounds like it was an honest mistake. I think your next step should be to make your wife feel special. Take her out to a nice dinner, or maybe even a weekend away together if you can afford it. OP. Oh yes, everything has been explained. She's not going nuts about it. She's just being quiet right now and digesting it. which is her way of handling upsetting things. We're still talking about it, and she does believe that I didn't cheat but thinks I'm downplaying my attraction to the coworker. Comment: hire the girl, she doesn't deserve not getting the job. As mad as it is going to make everyone here, I'm going to put it out there that you may need to look for another job. This isn't about right and wrong, this is about your marital happiness. The right thing would be for everyone to forget about it, and you keep your job and so on. But right isn't going to happen. Look at it objectively. So long as you work with her, your wife will be concerned and unhappy. Those are terrible feelings for her to have to suffer with. Those will undermine your marriage. So forget right and wrong. Explain to your wife the truth, again, but tell her that you care more about her happiness and your marriage than being right. Tell her you are ready to look for another job and see how she feels. If she wants that, then you should leave. OP: yep, this is exactly what I'm thinking. Might not be exactly rational, but I also can't to go work every day with my wife growing increasingly insecure about this woman. Comment: just be patient and understanding with your wife. If you don't get frustrated with her and she is reasonable, she will eventually come around. OP: trust me, I'm not. Maybe she will believe it was a mental moment and not go completely crazy about it, but when I'm ball deep and utter another woman's name, I will never discount my wife's reaction to that. Update: thanks for all the comments. It really gave me a lot more points of view to take in. I wrote my wife a long email yesterday, explaining in detail that it was just a slip of the tongue, and that was it. Nothing deeper, nothing devious, just nothing. I also let her know that I couldn't not hire the woman, but if this was going to be something that would eat away at the foundation of our relationship, then we could talk about an alternative to my working with her and what that could entail. Last night at home, lots of professions of my love and reminders that I have no desire or inclination to ever fuck up with. We have. About an hour later she responded and said she had digested it all, thought of all possible scenarios, and while she was very rattled and highly pissed once the shock wore off, she knows that I'm telling truth. She believes it was a slip of the tongue, albeit a huge one, and she would never ask me to not hire the woman when she is completely ignorant that any of this is going on, nor played a part in it. She said she would like to meet her just to put the matter to rest in her head, so I asked her to come meet me for lunch tomorrow. FYI, this isn't new behavior at all. She knows all of my team and goes to lunch with us as a group a couple times a year, and we also socialize with a couple of them outside of work at times. Last night when we got home, she was back to normal and actually joked about it at one point. She went to hand me my plate at dinner and I said, "Thanks, hon," and she said, "Are we going to start using pet names instead of our real ones? I like the forethought." She laughed. I shook my head. Edit: I will say that all the people that posted things like, "Tell your wife to chill out and get over it," made me laugh, and at the same time, pity your future wives. Calling your wife by your aunt's name at the grocery store would call for that. Calling your wife by another woman's name when you're balls deep and about to orgasm? Give that shit the gravity it deserves. Comment: I'm so thankful that when I did this it was calling her the dog's name. I'm not sure it's really better, but she doesn't think I'm cheating. At least, I hope she doesn't. OP froze during sex. His girlfriend asked if they should stop yesterday. I froze during sex, and my girlfriend asked if we should stop. I said yes, and she backed off. I've never been treated like this before. I am 23M, and I've been raped before, twice. I've been sexually assaulted too, and this has affected me and subsequent relationships a lot. 2 days ago, my girlfriend, and 23, was in my lap, and we were making out, and suddenly the images of rape came into my mind, and I froze. She obviously sensed it and asked if everything was okay, but I couldn't answer, and I'd begun to sweat. She got off my lap and asked if I wanted to talk, but I still couldn't say anything. Then she asked if she should leave the room, and I gave a small nod. She just grabbed her phone from the table and left. This has never happened to me. Nobody has listened to my no before. It feels weird, different. I don't know. Next morning when I woke up, she had made breakfast and left me a note saying if I wanted to talk, I could call her anytime. She came over after work, and I thanked her for listening to me. I was almost in tears. She welled up too and said no obviously means no, but hesitation means not too, and that she would never knowingly hurt me. I've never been treated like this before. My parents were shit, and almost every relationship I've had, 3, was also similarly shit. But she's different. She's been my rock when I've fallen low. She cooks for me because she wants me to be healthy. She leaves notes of affirmation all over the house for me to find, and is generally the most genuine, amazing person I've ever met. I want to show my gratitude to her and want to tell her how much she means to me, but I don't know how. Also, it's still weighing on me how my say matters to her. Never in my life have I ever been treated this way. So how do I tell how much she means to me? And will I stop feeling this way? Edit. Oh my God, y'all. I never expected this kind of response. I'm trying to read through them all, but thank you so much. To clarify a few things, almost everyone who commented suggested therapy. Therapy is super expensive, and I'm already working to pay for school, but yes, I've started therapy. It's been about 5 months now. Just taking baby steps here. Secondly, y'all gave a ton of good ideas, but I think I'm going to write her a letter and maybe arrange for a small picnic for the two of us. I know she'll love it. For those saying I should propose, that's definitely the plan, just not now. And to those who shared their similar experiences, thank you. It gave me an insight, and I hope things look up for you. And for all those who said I'm a pussy for getting raped or I'm lying, I'm sorry, but I can't make y'all believe me. I hope y'all feel better after this. Update posted 4 days later. I thought I'd update y'all since so many people commented on my previous post. As I said in earlier, I wrote her a letter and it was much more difficult than I thought it would be. But I wrote what was in my heart and how much I loved her and thanked her for supporting me. I made some of her favorite snacks and took her to a small park nearby. We ate and watched the sunset together, and then I gave her the letter I wrote. She cried and hugged me, and we sat there talking about future aspects. And then I showed the post to her. She welled up again and asked if she could come to a few therapy sessions with me, so that she could understand better what I was going through. Also, it might help her not burn out. I will talk to my therapist about it, and we'll see how it turns out. But that's about it. We went home, watched a movie, and went to bed. I seriously feel so lucky to have her in my life. We have come to the end of our story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. Tell us what you think about this story in the comments.